Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Genesis Open Picks One and Done's fantasy preview from Riviera Golf and Country Club, plus a recap of last week at Pebble Beach. Geoff Fienberg in studio with me to break it all down. One of my favorite TV viewing experiences of the year at Riviera, because Pebble's one of the worst. I don't even know if it's one of the best, but it's coming off the worst of the year, so maybe just by comparison, it seems really good. But I love watching it. HD was made for this course.
It's beautiful. Love all things about Riviera. Some had fantastic winners last couple of years. I feel like DJ and
Han,
Bubba
and twice.
Scott.
Bubba
right?
twice. Now, Scott's from like 10 years ago. There was that one weekend where Kokrak went into the lead. And I remember you and I did the show together that week. We had bet on Scott, Bubba, and I think Leishman as well. And they were all like right around the top five, but for whatever reason, Kokrak was winning. Rory was there too, and he tanked on Sunday. And then Bubba just stormed back and won.
I mixed that up, the Scott call, because then he played well that week, and
then
he went to Honda and then Doral.
And then win.
Won.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get completely off topic, but after a week, you go look at maybe Masters odds, and you see guys like will drop after good weeks. But what they don't do is guys that are playing very horribly,
they don't
seem to vault up. So when looking this morning, just, because odds weren't out,
Spieth 8-1.
Adam Scott still sitting there like 24-1. But anyone that plays well, like a Fleetwood or whatever, their odds are plummeting. But they don't seem to raise the guys that are playing horribly that now have no business in that range.
That doesn't usually happen. Like, eventually some guys will falter a little bit, but like the Monday after the last event, when we get like a fresh set of odds, then they kind of correlate a little bit. But put it this way, if anyone's jumping in right now to bet Masters odds, I don't care what people are at. They're like, I think that guy's going to win, I'll bet him. Someone told me that Phil is free money at the Masters, and it wasn't even Tim, which is insane.
He's looking serious.
Sure. Let's talk about last week. So Pebble Beach, TPJ, Ted Potta Jr. outlasts one Mr. Dustin Johnson, bringing the lefty win total. Since 2014, Bubba has 3 wins, Herman has 2 wins, Cody Gribble has 1 win, Ted Potter has 1 win, Phil, 0 wins. Yeah, he's free money to win, though, even when he's playing well. No wins since 2013. Still hasn't won since Tiger last won, which is still my favorite stat in golf.
He's playing really well. He's collecting a lot of Ryder Cup points, and the driver's looking good, and I don't want to turn this into anything. I give credit where credit is due. And Tim Anderson texted me to I hope you say nice things about Phil. I'm like, I always give credit where credit's due. He's easy to pick on. He, the sprinkler head and not winning, what have you. But he's playing fine. He looks like he's going to be a player in terms of Augusta.
Maybe, but this is also 2 weeks in a row, Phoenix and then Pebble.
His home courses.
But this is probably
Every
another
course
home
is
course.
A home course. Yeah.
But it's 2 weeks in a row where he ended up with really good finishes, but at no point was ever actually in contention to win. Like, he came second yesterday, but did he ever have a chance to win? Was he ever I don't think he ever got within 3 strokes of the lead till the end. Yeah, go out and go have a fill round. Great, you're 8 shots off the lead when the final round starts, and go out and play like a crazy person. But you dial up that pressure a little bit, and Daniel Berger's staring down your neck, then Phil's not so great.
He played at 2 courses he's very comfortable with.
Sure.
And he played well there.
Now,
and
the good thing
I can't believe we've already spoken about it too long, but, we're a year and a half away from a U.S. Open there, and he'll be egregiously overvalued.
Could Dustin be overvalued at a U.S. Open there?
You know what? I've already spoken to someone who I trust that already texted me. He's going to be a fade there.
You think so?
No, this is what that person said.
Bad memories?
Not even bad memories. The ref will be really thin. He'll be so popular, and there just might be other places to go. But it's funny to think what his line might be headed into that U.S. Open. That's scary to think. That being said, Pat, man, there were minus 350 for DJ Potter head-to-head.
Even after Friday when DJ was winning, it was DJ plus 125 to win the tournament. And people were like, that's value.
Some people thought that because the same thing happened in Hawaii. It was I don't know, it's kind of gone. And then it was there's no such thing as kind of missing the boat. There's still a boat here. that also said a lot of people with big doubles, or I don't mean golf doubles, but big parlays that had like 4 legs in DJ, they were getting huge numbers on Friday and Saturday night. Like almost 50% of your wager you could have gotten back on a Friday night, Saturday night.
Someone did. Someone texted or tweeted at us.
Yeah, Randall's.
It was like 3 golf. It was 3 hockey games. I think Kiradesh was on it, and he won. You hit Kiradesh as well this weekend. And then DJ was the last leg of it, and I think he cashed out for like half of what it was worth. On Saturday night. Smart move. Listen, I mean, when you invest 100 and get like $3,000 back,
here's the other part of it. You know what? It's kind of the lesser story to most people. So I'm just going to go out and say what Ted Potter Jr. did was insane. My boy Hainzer won Pebble Beach. I cannot.
Should we put up the picture?
You got to just put a picture of Hainzer.
All right, so Ted Potter and Hainzer, your buddy.
And Cam's buddy.
And
we were.
So when Cam used to do that, that's actually a Hainzer impression, not a Todd Potter impression.
Yeah, everyone's sending this message, hey, Cam, your boy Ted. I'm like, no, Potter's not the boy. Hainzer's the boy. I get how people mistake it. It is so crazy. Here's the thing, Pat. People are like, I can't believe he did that after bogeying the first hole.
Okay, this is something I want.
Saturday, he's on 59 watch, and he comes in.
Bogey.
I always talk about, like, DJ hit a putt for birdie after a really sluggish Saturday. On 18, it was a side putt. It wasn't an easy putt on 18 to close Saturday that tied him in the lead. And to me, that's always huge. And anyone that bets this golf thing week in, week out, like 16, 17, 18 on Saturday, always, to me, carries over.
You say that, though, but Ricky did the same thing on Saturday at Phoenix. Then he did nothing the next day. Remember, he closed super fire?
But closing bad is bad.
Sure.
Like, it's just, I don't know. So, when you go to bed, even like a great round like Potter has, he goes to bed thinking about like how he screwed that up. Now, that being said, those last couple holes on the front nine at Monterey are the harder ones.
They're the 2 hardest ones.
I was looking at the course, the whole difficulty.
You know what's not hard? The back 9. And that led me to Shez, but we'll get to that in a second.
So he did that, and then he goes out and he bogeys the first.
Okay, but that is...
And then I'm almost going to tweet, because Wayne's out.
Yeah.
And to me, that was bad. People are like, oh, I'll get to that in a second. Wayne's out, and I'm almost going to tweet, wow, man, this feels bad for DJ. He's playing with 2 amateurs today. Look, like, I didn't tweet it. I thought about it, because I'm not like that guy. Like, I don't like to just mess with things. And yeah, and then Potter, man, all day. Even the announcers made a joke, like, Jim, like, we don't see him in the lead often, but when he has a lead, like, holy shit, can he close?
Well, I think it was Baroff who pointed it out, and eventually the PGA jumped up on him. I mean, the guy has like 20 wins on the Hooters Tour. When he's in contention, the guy wins.
Well,
doesn't matter where in the world.
Was like tweeting, like, he's a legend. To guys like on that lower level, TPJ's a legend to these guys.
Well, Bowditch even pointed out, like, winning's winning. It doesn't matter where you do it at. It's still hard to win no matter what level you're at. Now, obviously, on the PGA Tour, it's a little bit different. It's not like Potter hadn't won before.
Nope.
He won the Greenbrier.
That one annoyed me.
Yes, I feel like...
It was a playoff against another scrub.
That wasn't the 4-man playoff with, like, Hearn and Danny Lee and Streb. I think it was one where Streb had to putt with his wedge. That was at the Greenbrier.
That was more recently.
I think it was 2012 that Potter ended up winning. Either way, the guy can close. And like
closed it.
It didn't seem like the nerves were getting to him.
He put all those par putts into center cup. Man.
He did not leave himself with any disastrous shots.
Nothing.
Not one.
Not one.
Like, what was his biggest par save? Like 5 feet?
I'll be honest. I mean, you did something huge. I put in a little sprinkle when he chipped in on 7.
You're like, ooh.
And it was still like plus 220. I'm like, okay, I'm in now. I'm in now. Not like enough to get it. And I'll say the most disappointing thing, Wayne not playing. Everyone's like, is that a big deal? Somebody like, no, it's not a big deal. Now listen, I say it's an enormous deal, but I also hold Wayne Gretzky. I know everyone respects him, but you know, I'm a Toronto kid. I hold Wayne Gretzky in even higher regard than like people who respect Wayne Gretzky hold him. So to me, his presence would have been worth a lot. Now, that's just my mental midget analysis. The round was slow, got annoying. You saw DJ kind of fall out of sorts. I think the Pro-Am aspect worked great for Potter because it was just like, I'm just in this like hit and giggle. And for a lot of these guys, 2.5 days, it's a hit and giggle until you realize there's a cut to be made, kinda. So all the credit in the world And Larry Fitzgerald, man. Can I roster that mofo?
Well, I think what big thing with the whole Wayne situation was it took their pairing down from 4 people to 3 people.
Slow.
So they were playing fast, but they had Day, who's just notoriously slow in front of them, holding everyone
Everything
back.
was slow, though. Even like...
Yeah, but the round, like, they were slow themselves because they were playing foursomes ahead of them instead of the regular twosome or threesome. And you had an amateur, like I think Chris Harrison was in the group ahead of them, and he was bad. Stricker was having an awful day. Day plays slow as it is. Like, when Potter got to the tee on 17, he had to wait 20 minutes before hitting a shot. Like,
he hit a great shot.
He hit a great shot, so maybe that worked for him. And for DJ, if you had Wayne playing there, it was just their round wouldn't have been as quick. So they wouldn't have been waiting around as much. And DJ just seems more like a flow guy. Like, he doesn't take a ton of practice shots. He's not Snedeker when it comes to just not preparing. But when he steps up to the ball, he just goes and hits it.
And yeah, you knew there was trouble. It was 3 pretty stress-free holes, and then 4, he's 80 yards out, line wide. Puts in that
wedges,
bunker.
Man.
Incredible bunker shot, almost like flies into the hole, and then goes to the tee on 5, hits it OB. I don't know, man. And we'll move on.
I think, one thing I wanted to mention a bit earlier, and I forgot to bring it up because you mentioned it, when Potter made the bogey on 1, is I remember seeing this with Swafford at Career Builder last year, too. When you have some of these, I don't want to say...
Bogeys on 1 sometimes.
That's the thing.
I've seen that before, too.
The bogey...
But I didn't think Ted Potter Jr. was going to be the guy to ride the bogey on 1.
But when you're not the elite level player, and you're like the average level player, the bogey on 1 kind of expels all the nerves, because it feels like you're already out of it when you're playing with Dustin Johnson, and then you just go play carefree. I don't know if you could probably look back at 90% of tournaments, that's just not the case, but it's just something that has stuck out in my mind because I've noticed it in the past. It could just be confirmation bias on my part, because I'm not going to dig in to find out who bogeyed 1 and ended up winning a tournament.
No.
I thought it was interesting.
Confirmation bias, I know it. And people that watch this, they follow it. I guarantee. Do you know how many heater rounds we've seen with the bogey on 1? That's a thing. I buy into what you said.
Well, you got the narrative street in the background of you. So, I when it comes to golf, there's no sport better for any narrative you want to pick out and just go with that. Because that's how I ended up on Potter on the weekend. It had nothing to do with him playing.
I told you
I didn't even tweet it out because I thought it was an embarrassing bet.
Taking a leak, I'm like, you bet that shit live? I wouldn't have bet that at like 1,000,000 to 1, even Sunday morning, man. No, maybe that. But I was like, dude, you're nuts. And you said to me, like, you just did it for the each way. Like, the win was zero part of it.
Like, the win would have been nice, and obviously he won, so I got paid on it. But it was because Bet365 was offering the top 5 each way still. He was just heating up on the back at Monterey. And I was like, well, if he can get to like 13 under at the end of this round, he only needs to play like 1 under at Pebble tomorrow, and he'll be inside the top 5, and I'm cashing big either way. But the Chez one was the one I put out there. He was 125, and the only reason I got on him was because Potter was lighting up.
You're like, who
Monterey.
behind Potter is going to light it up?
Yeah, and he had played, because Potter played the back at Monterey first, and everyone was killing the back at Monterey on Saturday. Chez started on the front, and he was like, he was like 3 under through 8 or something. I was like, well, if he can get going, and he can make a move on the back here. Like, he was 125 to 1. He was only paying top 4 on the each way. But I was like, screw it, let's do it. Let's get in. And that cash, and then Potter cash, and it was like, boom. But in the cheat sheet last week, I had Streelman top 10, which paid out because he missed the top 5 after Day made par on 18, and then Dustin made the birdie. It was a horrible confluence of circumstances for anyone who bet the each way on Streelman. The top 10 paid out. That was like 7 to 1. And I had Potter pre-tournament top 20. At 9 to 1, so that worked out as well. Eventually, I'm going to hit a winner before the tournament starts, but you know what? It's nice to have my account replenished. Just like with you and Kiridesh, it's nice to hit a winner you don't see coming.
I touted Kiridesh on Twitter. I picked, I think, 5 guys. He's the only guy who made the top 24.
Do you like that format? I didn't see a second.
Well, remember last week I railed on it.
But
said, Keith, you've gone too far.
But Wiley was ragging on it too, and maybe when I listen to Golflandia later, he's going to talk about it when I listen to it on Tuesday morning.
It's kind of silly.
It is, but he said it was fun to watch, though.
And they're taking... Bless the golf cart, baby! Woo! Kiridesh got a golf cart. He had to play 30 freaking holes. They're golf carting around on Sunday.
He would have passed out if he had to work.
Okay, it's a hilly course, they said. Okay, a couple things. I didn't watch it. It was just... I watched, actually, his, like, early match, but by the time he got to the finals and stuff, it was too late for me. The guy he played in the finals, Pat...
Who was it?
No Nezit. I never heard of him. No sponsor. He's wearing a Cowboys hat. Not like Julian Surrey signed a deal with the Jaguars. You see that?
I did know. I saw he was their official ambassador now.
I love this.
Also,
remember when Ben Curtis used to just wear
the
gear
home team hat?
Like part of the country he was on?
He was the Mick Foley of the PGA Tour. It was his hometown event. repping the local
The
team.
Chargers spot. Well, never mind.
But no, Surrey had me rattled. For a few days,
Everybody, because he didn't make he's 12 over in Phoenix.
He was awful the first 2 times, and then all of a sudden he's in second place. Yeah, his weekend didn't go so hot.
You're like, who goes to Phoenix to Pebble? They're such different courses. That's why, again, I know we're bouncing all over the place. Credit to Ches, because 2 crazy different courses. The Monday, or not the Monday playoff, but just a playoff. You take a close look at that hat, the straight brim, the D-backs logo.
Ches.
All
right, you got some news? Romo's playing.
Sorry.
Romo's playing.
You asked me about so the guy who Kirdesh was playing was wearing a Cowboys hat, not sponsored. That's how that's how low on the totem pole this guy was. He's wearing a new era Dallas Cowboys hat. The format, I don't know about it. Kirdesh got 100 lives, and you also got to say this. He's got more style than anybody in the world. I've never seen a guy match his lime green putter handle with his outfit in my life. Canceled a vacation to the Maldives with his wife to play.
Really?
Yeah.
Worked out. No one loves money more than Kirdesh.
That's 2 sports cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because usually he just settles for a third. He's like, it's enough money for a new car. He's
I don't know, Larry. I got no notes.
I just want to talk about Romo for a second. Romo got an exemption into not a web.com event in against, I think it's against the match play, the Dominican Republic Open, which is taking the place of the Puerto Rico Open, I think. But it's
the opposite.
It's opposite of the WGC week. Do you people were upset that he was in the tournament? Why wouldn't you put him in the tournament? Who cares?
Genius. It's like Steph Curry. It's a sponsor's exemption to anybody. People need to realize who gets these things anyway. They're not going to a guy that might win. They're going to a local.
Who people will come to see.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like Steph Curry. It puts eyeballs. It's going to be on SportsCenter. You're telling me that's not worth giving one spot away? When there's sponsor exemptions every week? I'm just out of a hat. John Deere Classic, the president of John Deere gets to put anyone he wants in. People write letters. Just how you, literally, people write tournament directors letters, to get a sponsor's exemption. Giving their, crazy life story. So, I don't know. This one goes to Romo. Doesn't bother me one bit. He's a scratch golfer. He was playing with Willie Zalatoris.
Zalatoris actually played pretty well.
But here's the thing. Romo, I don't know what, Fitz killed it. We saw Fitz shots. He can't be more than a 3 or a 4 handicap.
Oh, he is like my good friend the Moose. He is a member at Hazeltine in Minnesota.
Awesome. And I'm sure a couple places out in Zona. And what sort of hat size do you think that is? Because he has I don't know.
8.5?
Yeah. He hits a real shot. A real shot. But Romo doesn't get any strokes in this thing. Verlander either. They're scratch golfers. They're playing the scoring like the pros.
Yeah.
I get a bogey, double bogey counts as one off on my 17 cap.
Yeah, it's people always ask I don't think that people quite understand that about the pro-am aspect. How did Bill Murray ever win? He looks shitty. It's well, he's not great, but he's playing against his handicap.
And then I got in a couple of years ago, got a legit, birdie in a tournament. It counts like a hole in one.
Well, that's what Fitzgerald did that on the short par, the 7th, the 100-yard. He almost.
Everyone else is the pros are bogeying.
Yeah, and he puts it 2 inches from the cup, and that counted as a hole in one for him because
a net hole in one.
A net hole in one.
They call it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We move on, and
Streelman played well again.
That pairing was killing the pro-am. I think they were 1-2. They were all together.
Neither one of them, because I had both of them because I ended up jumping on Shez on Saturday, and I had Streelman from before the tournament. They both I don't want to say they gagged on the back nine, but they couldn't hit a putt. They were playing well.
At least.
And then Shez bogeyed that part. That's a tough par 5, but then he bogeyed it. It was come on, man.
Well, he played it short, then he went in the bunker.
Why didn't DJ go with that at 2?
He was just annoyed and lazy. It was this is over. I don't know. Oh, one thing I want to clear up.
Because Phil was the only one to make birdie on that hole, and he was the only one to go for it in 2. Just put it either in the bunker or next to the bunker and just chip it off.
Maybe ADD clicked in. I don't know. Should have just waited. I don't have an answer. Someone said something to me that they thought DJ was classless, that he didn't handle putter well at the end. And I responded, DJ just played a 7-hour round with the guy, and when I was watching, because I bailed on the end, I was nauseous.
I didn't.
DJ was giving him props all day. I heard great shot to the Pro-Am that Potter was playing with, great lag. Like, DJ was classing it up. I saw them walking together, so I'm not taking any of that. 7 hours later, DJ needed off the course. Me, Pat, 3 weeks ago, 54-hole leader Noren. Last week, Fowler. DJ. Tied. I don't know. I don't want these leads anymore.
You want the chasers?
I don't know. I feel Fowler and DJ, guys I expect so much for. At like courses they're supposed to just
at least DJ's a closer. I mean, with Fowler, you can kind of expect it. Guy doesn't hold on to leads ever. You need him to be a chaser.
Phoenix, I thought, might have been different.
But he's never won in Phoenix. The same thing happens to him every year. It just happened worse this time around.
I don't know why we're talking about him.
Let's get to the course. Riviera Golf and Country Club in Los Angeles. Over 7,300 yards. However,
formerly Northern Trust.
The Northern Trust. Rascals checkmate card now and thrust. DJ coming down with the Northern Trust.
See, we do this all the time,
and
but
no
I don't think Americans have any idea.
The Rascals are a Canadian rap group from like the mid 1990s.
Yeah, so yeah, they had this single that rapped about the Northern Trust, and now
no, it wasn't about the Northern Trust. It was about the Northern Touch. I just transformed the lyrics.
Yeah, but
I'm basically the Weird Al Yankovic of our time. But anyway, 7,322 yards. It's a par 71, but this course plays longer than the yardage might dictate. Because hole number 1 is the easiest par 5 on tour. It's like 503 yards. It's like where all the eagles get made here. It plays well below par. And then you have the number 10, my favorite hole on the PGA Tour.
The 2 landing areas.
What?
Isn't that at Riviera?
What?
It's the hole where it's like you can go, there's like literally 2 fairways.
Yeah.
But you have to clear, there's a clearing. And the one we bet Scott, he went in the clearing, or he would have won that tournament.
Yeah, the one where he went to like the middle.
Yeah,
into like the hazard area.
You pick a fairway, and one would be shorter, but the other one you got to clear something to get into.
Yeah, and Scott ended up in the ravine. Yeah. Sergio's always in there too. He's not playing this week though.
I just put it down because I didn't know.
But that's where he always ends up.
Traded with Tiger.
But where was I getting at? Oh yeah, there's the short par 4, my favorite hole in golf, number 10. And then the really short par 5, number 1. So you take one par 4 that's like 315 yards, a par 5 that's just like on the dot 500, and you still have over 7,300 yards. Like usually with that par 5 is an extra 90 yards, and that par 4 is an extra 100 yards. So those just get added to the longer holes. There are 7 holes, par 4s, that measure over 450 yards this week. Like, I know that Bill Haas has won here in the past. I know Steve Stricker has won here in the past. And
James Hahn
has won here in the past. And there is a path to these shorter hitters playing really well. And it all has to do with putting and around the green stuff. Because these aren't Pebble tiny greens, but they're only 500,000 square footage. So they're less. People are going to miss greens. But this is all about bombers, and this is all about long irons. Ball striker galore, that's where the money is to be made here.
And I'll say something. Yeah, to your point, and I kind of felt this last week, and guys did play well, like a Streelman, and I know Ponder won, but...
And Shez played well.
To me, like a guy like of that skill set, you say this many times leading into tournaments, that guy has to play... Perfect. No, zero margin for error. Well, there's a few guys out there, not even counting a DJ, who's on his own stratosphere, I think we all agree right now. There's such a margin for error for a guy like a Justin Thomas or something.
Or even Rahm. Rahm didn't even play well this week and still played well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I will give him credit, though, because Rahm knew that he needed to shoot like 59 in order to win. So what did he do? He went out and fired at everything.
I love it.
He didn't care if he was 5th or 58th.
Hey, he went OB on 5. Guess who else did, playing with the lead? Annoying me. Love Rahm, and I'll say this right now, I'm sure you get involved in this, or anyone, we like to bet golf, and we talk to people who don't really bet golf, and it was like, give me a pick. At this point, it's like, those people, I'm not satisfied anymore, because I'm having hot Sunday tickets, I'm not cashing them. But Rahm is like the safest pick, like for somebody who just wants to maybe put their feet up on, not watch anything for the first 54 holes, and like, who's contending?
I didn't even notice he was inside like the top 5 going into Sunday. I looked at the leaderboard, I was like, oh, Jesus, Rahm's there. Where'd he come from?
Yeah, he was 3 back.
Yeah.
He's 11 under, playing with Rogers.
Now, this went both ways. I had 2 head-to-heads out there. I pushed on the head-to-heads this week, so I lost the VIG, which sucks, going 500. You're always going to pay the minus monies. But I had Spieth over Rahm, and Rahm went like triple bogey, bogey, bogey to fall a shot behind Spieth. by the end of the tournament. But I also had Lowry at plus money over Kokrak. And Kokrak went like birdie, 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 birdie to jump ahead of Lowry by the end of the day. So it was a wash. That sucked. Stats to look at here. I mentioned off the hop, driving distance, and irons. Like, when you think Rory, this is sort of a course where Rory should play well. Dustin always plays well here. Bubba Watson has won here twice. Phil has won here twice. Like, there is, like I mentioned, the shorter hit. Rory played here once. Before. He did. He was actually inside the top 5 going into Sunday, and he gagged Sunday away, shooting a 76 2 years ago. Either way, when you look at this course, the shorter hitters, if you can keep it on the fairway, that's all good. The greens regulation percentage is very low at this course, meaning you're going to have to rely on your short game. And I was shocked to see that short game correlated so well to a lot of the winners here, but those are the shorter hitters, like I mentioned. Bill Haas, Steve Stricker, Aaron Badley. Guys with good short games can... John Merrick, the year that when he came out of nowhere and won, it was because he just chipped the lights out.
Those guys have to go, like, 11 of 13 in sand saves and lights out from around the greens.
Yeah, but I mean that is a path to victory here because it is hard to chip here.
It's their only path to victory, though.
Sure, but when you get someone like Stricker, let's say, like he actually hits long irons pretty well. Like he scores well on these longer par 4s. So does like someone like William McGirt and Chez Reavie, as opposed to like your run-of-the-mill shorter hitter who's also accurate. So there are certain things that you want to be looking for if you target the shorter hitters. And I do think that the strokes gained in terms of P4 scoring over 450 yards is just one of those things to add into the pile of guys that you want. But I mean, generally speaking, you're going to have driving distance, the long hitters, long irons, guys that score on par 5s. Even though there's only 3 of them, I mean, even last week, I think DJ was like 14 under on the par 5s.
He should have.
That's what got him there. And that's how Potter ended up winning, too. He was second in par 5 scoring. Take the easy ones.
And the craziest thing about Pebble, and they mentioned it if you watch Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday I give them a little credit. It was still painful coverage, but they didn't sit down with players. No. And they didn't analyze amateurs anymore. We got more amateur shots, which was kind of annoying, but Pebble ranking 4th on tour in like the hardest short putts.
Yeah, and you're going to see that again this week. One thing that I did add to my model, and you can check it on my strokes game, my column up on DK Playbook, strokes game between 5 and 10 feet, the lowest on tour at Riviera. Putting inside 10 feet at Riviera is the hardest course to do it on tour.
Okay, that's really scary. And without getting ahead of myself, because I'm really excited for the guy, and I'll almost ignore, because Rory can come out and shoot a 6. I don't care what he did a week before. But that's not about the putting. Because you miss when you're an elite player and you miss the short putts, or any player, everyone knows this. You miss those 3.5 footers, a lot of the time, Pat, you take it to the next tee. And that's what scares me about that stat and Rory and even Jordan.
Jordan can't hit a 3-foot putt to save his life.
For that matter. And that kind of opens the door up for, there's some players that have kind of caught my eye. The top, you can
let's get into it. So the top guys, the elites in this field, very strong field, by the way, and we have an infusion of everyone's favorite Euro Tour player. He's now over, and we got Hao Tong in the field as well. There's 5 guys making their first start coming over from the Euro Tour.
And we've gone 28 minutes.
We'll get to that. And that's actually a point I wanted to bring up. But Dustin Johnson, last year's winner of this event, is 5-1 this week. He's followed by Spieth at 12, Rory at 12, JT at 18, Phil Mickelson at 22. He's now one of the favorites of this tournament. He has won here twice, mind you. Also, lefties at this course. Weir's won twice, Bubba's won twice, Phil's won twice. And the correlation between this, Augusta,
Who'd
and
you
Quail.
say first?
Weir won this back-to-back years.
Listen, props to anybody who played that Weir versus Rory head-to-head on at Pebble.
But those guys have all won the Masters as well. So there's a left-handed correlation between Riviera and the Masters. And if you just go look at similar leaderboards, Quail Hollow and Riviera stick out like a sore thumb. James Hahn has won both. Webb Simpson just performs there each and every time. And they encapsulate the same things. Long par 4s, long irons. The guys with the hottest long irons win. So I think if you're looking for correlations in between, and if you go to fantasynational.com, one of my favorite things you can do when you're a member, you can select those 3 courses, then run your numbers and see who's performed well at all 3. I like that. So I recommend that everyone go sign up for fantasynational.com. If it wasn't for Fantasy National, I wouldn't have been on Ted Potter. Even though the stats that I used didn't make any sense in terms of how it actually ended up playing out, it did get me on him. Sometimes you got to be lucky. But those are the big 4, and then Phil and Casey are 22. DJ has, in the last 7 years, He has finished inside the top 4 with a win 6 times, missed the cut once.
Incredible.
And
then you take those numbers and you look at, like, he's played 2 events this year. He crushed it at the Tournament of Champions.
One came second team, T9 at Abu Dhabi.
You know, and even... Okay. I don't know where this is going to come from, but you got to match him again, if that's what you do. If you did it last week, you got to do it again. And the only theory I know to do it with is because it hits at such a hot rate, but I don't know the games. So you guys got to get to me. Putting this in the hands of you. These NHL teams, Pat, they bring their dads, like once a year, they do these dads road trip.
Okay.
They're like 20, like the historical numbers on winning with the dads there. I heard some guy on the, Brian Blessing was on local radio here, nothing to do with our friends where we work, and he was touting this crazy number of like 21 and like 5 with the dads. And I know the sample isn't big, but I get it. It's good old Canadian boys.
Playing for their dads.
When the team flies dad in and the dads are in the suite, these teams step up. The Sabres are like a plus 200 dog versus Boston on Saturday. Dads are there.
I think you need to tap the Narrative Street sign. There you go. Get it in there. I'm surprised you didn't knock it off the wall. It's not on there very sturdy. It's all good. It's still
I
there.
gave it a ring.
You did give it a ring.
So I don't know. Where are the dads at? Give me DJ with the dads games all week.
The top 5 for DJ, if you just bet top 5 straight out, will probably be like minus 110 if you want to throw your money on the each way and get you like basically a money back bet. If you put like 100 on DJ to win at 5-1 and then put 100 on the each way, you would get it at plus 125. So you would come out on top by a little bit.
Also, a couple things. I touted last week. I didn't play it. I just find them interesting. That like Big 7 bet.
Yeah.
That thing was looking gold going
I know.
into Sunday. DJ, Day,
Rom,
Rom.
Speed.
Even Phil, they had part of that based on the odds. Psh, explosion.
Do you have interest in Spieth, Rory, or Thomas?
Rory the most.
Rory the most?
Maybe Thomas because the
Thomas
payback
has the better odds.
Is the odds. But I want to say...
Thomas has never played well here. In like 2 starts. Now, obviously, he's a better player today than he was... I wouldn't say a year ago today because he'd been doing all of his winning. But like he's won a major now, and he's played big boy fields and won. And before, he was winning like the CIBM Classic and the Sony Open and stuff like that. Now he has a real win against real guys.
Here's the thing. And going to Justin, I wasn't surprised that he won so much, but winning like certain events surprised me more than ever. Because to me, I always thought he's a CMB winner. He's a guy that's going to go to Phoenix and shoot like a 20 under. I didn't seem like going to major layouts. Like this one I wouldn't call it a major layout, but...
It could be jazzed up to be a major layout if they wanted to.
If they really
don't
wanted
forget,
to.
you know what we're going to hear a lot this week? Kikuya grass. A lot of kikuya here in the rough. Real thick rough. You have to be used to it.
Yeah, so
South Africans are
what's
used
the
to it.
winning score?
Here?
Yeah.
Minus 15. Minus 16.
Yeah, so...
Or DJ wins. It's like that weird outlier year that Phil had in Phoenix where he won at like minus 28. And the normal score is like minus 15.
I'm not a JT guy. I still believe... I believe the Rory we saw in Europe is more indicative of what's to come.
The guy who came second and third in his 2 starts?
Of Rory than last week. But the thing that
Pebble
scared
doesn't
me...
seem like it really...
People just got, links type layout, but then
But it's
there's
not
going to
even
be windy. And
windy
the problem
on the water, like, no
his,
thanks.
his approaches got really ugly, and his dad was hitting some putts that he...
You could have had a DP, a designated putt.
That he wasn't. I don't want to lament anymore. The toughest part about DJ not winning last week, Pat, is because I had envisions. The best part about a DJ win would have been getting your risk back. Because it was heavy. And then I was taking that risk, forgetting the profits, forgetting what would have been fun. And that was going all on Super Bowl 40.
Super Bowl 40.
52?
53.
53.
Oh, that would have been just Chargers
Why
money?
did I say Super
I don't
Bowl
know.
40?
Maybe you're living in the past. Are you a past person? You have jumped here?
Oh, because we're 40-1.
Ah.
I was wondering how the hell 40 played in there. Because that's what I was waiting to do. The risk. So that's the sad part. There's a risk that I wanted back.
If people know me, they know I don't like jumping up to the top of the board, so I'm not going to be doing it again. Although having DJ in this field is both good and bad. It's almost like having all the top guys there last week is that you're getting better odds on some of the guys that I think can win a bit more down the card, where I mean, Shez isn't going to be one of them because he's just. I mean, he's probably properly priced, but I want to get him like 60s, 35. That sucks.
Nope, but you said it. There are some guys now. I think even in our preview show, we were waiting for. I don't want to bring into song and dance, even though I do have some theatrical stage credits to my name. We were waiting for a moment like this and a number like this on a couple players down the board.
So I think you need to be more concerned realistically with top 5s, top 10s, top 20s in terms of some of these guys, because having DJ in this field at a course where he dominates, and this is where he began his run of 3 consecutive wins last season. This, the match play, and then WGC Mexico.
The other Mexico was before match play.
Mexico was before match
But
play.
either
Anyway, he
way.
won 3 in a row.
And then he fell down the stairs. And Wiley was wondering if Wayne fell down the stairs.
Potentially. I mean,
On the
there's
weekend,
something going
yeah.
on in the Dustin household. Either way, when you have him in this field, there is a distinct possibility that everyone else is playing for second. So you need to temper your expectations of what you want to get out of this tournament. That's why I think looking at the broad view of all the players. Yes, sir, you have a question.
But if the guy just lost to Ted Potter, does that not mean the collection of mid-level players that I might offer up could take him down?
I mean, is anyone a closer like Ted Potter Jr. is? Do you really have faith that Brendan Steele is going to look him in the eye and chase him down? I like Brendan Steele. That's more of a DraftKings play.
You said it. He scares the shit out of me with the 4-footers. Hard 4-footers. Or I guess they're just as hard as they are on easy courses for him because he misses them anyway. Am I onto something or am I so off base?
Are we talking about DJ?
No, I was talking about Brendan Steele.
Oh, Brendan Steele, yeah.
I quickly jumped ahead because you went there. But I guess a guy that's normally bad at 4-footers, just like he misses him at Phoenix, he'll miss the same ones
Yeah,
here.
but we're also now talking about POA. Now, this POA runs higher on the stimp meter than like Pebble Beach does, but it's still tough to putt with inside 10 feet. But again, does that make the bad putters better because everyone's missing putts, and does it make the good putters worse, or are the POA specialists the people that you want to go after? Like, I think it's really easy to look into those stats and try to take out whatever you want from them.
Always.
And that's with any stat. But I'm really just, in my mind, I'm thinking, who drives it a ton, who hits long irons, who scores on par 5s and long par 4s. And I'm just pushing on those guys. That's my move.
I like it.
And who's the hottest with approach shots right now? Do you know the hottest player on tour is with the approach shots right now? 2 top 10s in his last 3 starts.
Playing.
He is playing. He's in this field. His name, Ollie Schneider-Jans.
Dude.
Ollie.
I'm
Top 10 at this event last year as well.
I mean, if anyone who watched our excited about preview show, and I joked with our producer Paul Shag, I'm like stapled. Like I am beholden to whatever number they give and however they do it. I'm just that guy that like when I tout you for long season success, I can't let go.
I think this is a pretty decent spot for him. The POA putting kind of worries me a little bit. Just his short putting always worries me, but he is so dialed in with his irons right now. And I'm not usually a big Ollie backer, but I'm in. I'm going to be taking Ollie. I'll be heavily overweight on him. And he's someone I can see for the outright and top 10, like that kind of thing. Like I think he's just a solid play across the board.
And waited long enough for odds to appear this morning, and when they did, they didn't take long to even drop him down a bit of a notch. So
Yeah, so I got him at 45. You saw him at 50 to open. Now he's down to 40 on yours.
yeah, I
So you might be
got the 45 as well, but on a book that I was lollygagged on playing the 50, dropped it to 40.
So the guys in between, the big 4 and the rest, Phil is 22. Casey, who's lost in a playoff here, is 22. You want to talk about those 2 guys? Do you have any interest in those 2 guys?
I have interest in one of them.
All right, well, let's talk about it. Who? I'm going to say Paul Casey.
It hurts.
Did you see when Sunday Casey got into contention on Sunday? What happened? He started fire at Pebble, and then he was in the water.
Oh, I thought he could make that run. You saw how he got off on that front 9. He went to 7 and got himself in trouble in almost the same in around the same spot Ted Potter chipped in from, I want to say.
So you have no interest in Phil?
No.
Okay.
But he's playing well.
He is playing well.
But Phil's got to pick his spots, and to me, LA Country Club isn't one of them.
He's won here twice. Four times? He's won here a bunch. It's been a while, because it's always been a while with Phil. But you see him kind of gearing up. Maybe WGC Mexico is the place for him.
Okay, but Fantasy Golf National has to love Paul Casey.
Of course. It always does.
Woodland won.
That's an interesting point.
Is that the narrative for betting Paul Casey?
Yeah, if Woodland can win, Paul Casey can win.
That's how I go with it. I'm really intrigued. Let me ask you this question, Pat. It's this week, it's next week, or it's both. I like his chances.
So do you just jump on him twice?
Well, that's or do I like just hold off till Honda? What do I do?
I think if you're going to go, listen.
What's the number next week? The field will be strong.
It won't be as strong as this.
Okay, we went there.
It won't be.
I have a question.
Okay.
I
got a lot of questions.
Before the show, you heard me like murmuring to myself that I screwed up.
By the way, just in my key stat power rankings, let's say from last 50 rounds on, Rory, Thomas, DJ, Finau, Spieth, Leishman, Casey, List. By the way. And DJ just kind of sits near the top in all of these. Historically, Rory's number one. Spieth, Phil, DJ, Scott, Keegan, JT, Jimmy Walker, who played well last week too. What were you saying?
I'm making a bet on the show right now.
Okay.
I'll disclose it when we get there. He was one of the names you just said. It was short on the list.
Was it Luke List?
No, it wasn't. We've taken a long time to get to Tiger.
I was going to continue with Casey.
Okay, let's
you wanted to get
continue
out
with
there.
Casey.
I have my own special Tiger section.
You're well done. I just don't want people wondering that we're crazy.
But this is a part of
It's
my
planned.
Tiger. This is a
It's
part of my
plan.
Tiger section.
Okay. What do you think Casey's number will be next week?
18. Unless he wins, then it'll be like 9-1. You know what I mean?
Everything sets up for him here. I think
Yeah.
he's a fantastic DraftKings play.
He's a fantastic ball striker. You know what Paul Casey
long
can't
irons.
do? Putt! You just can't fucking putt! Paul Casey can putt. I'll spoil it. I'm on Tony Finau this week as well. Because he also sets up perfectly. However, the guys can't putt.
Oh, you spoiled it, because that was literally, if you want to just see my pending, literally made a second ago, was Tony Finau, 66-1.
Yeah, now Casey's a better player, but Finau sneakily has been really good around the greens. So is Luke List, actually. I think that's why they both rate out really well for me here. And around the greens, Paul Casey's a savant. I mean, he's not the best around the green player on tour, but he's, definitely above average. He's not Spieth, he's a notch below that, but he's still quite good.
Okay,
and on these POA greens, we've seen him putt well on them before. They neutralize some of the shitty putters, and boom. Then you got Paul Casey all of a sudden. I'm not going to do it, because I don't bet Paul Casey to win golf tournaments, but I understand the logic behind it.
I'm thinking long and hard about Casey.
But I think if you bet him this week, you got to be prepared to bet him next week, too.
But I said that last week, that I was worried he was going to pop a Pebble, because I think he's going to be on 2 straight cards for me.
Did he make your card last week?
No, but 2 straight cards being Riviera and
Don't back
Honda.
off that now. You don't want to be the guy that doesn't
I
bet
didn't
him
like-
this week.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, no. Especially when he sets up so well for the scores.
I didn't bet him last week.
No, I know. But
Yeah. This sets up for him perfectly. You went into a minute spiel about everything it takes here, and he does all of them except the final piece.
Except for the winning part.
The Sunday part, too.
But if he's 22, and this is what I'm saying about the DJ thing. If he's 22, that means you're probably going to get plus 350, 400 for a top 5. That's not the end of the world. If that's how you want to play it. Let's talk Tiger. Tiger Woods is back in the field, playing this tournament for reasons that are somewhat unknown to me, because he has historically never really played all that well at Riviera. He hasn't played this course since 2006. His best finish ever was 1999. He lost 2 strokes to Ernie Els. He actually withdrew with the flu in 2006. This course does not really set up all that well for him, despite being a hometown course, because it is in Los Angeles. But the point I really wanted to make on Tiger was that it's nice for me to know that Tiger is in this tournament, but he's not the story. That's the Tiger that I want to have. That means we expect him to play tournaments now. Because before, when Tiger's playing in a tournament, it's like, oh my God, Tiger is playing in a tournament. The fact that we're past that point, at least I am, and maybe the national media is going to be a little bit different with that, but I just like the fact that he's in this field, he's playing. No one really expects a ton from him, but it's just nice that he's here. He's going to play. We get to watch Tiger, but that's not the story. The story of Tiger playing isn't the story of this tournament, and I like that.
And I guess that sets up perfectly as to it took us 40 minutes to talk about him. Because
Yes.
he's just a player in the field.
A player who I do not expect to win.
No, I don't expect to win. I think the numbers are kind of silly. Again, like you, maybe not as much as Torrey Pines, because it wasn't the first time out. Making the cut, I think, is a win,
Sure.
another win for the
But
PGA Tour.
at Torrey Pines, And yes, I agree with you that making the cut would be a huge thing. But I mean, Tiger's won 8 times at Torrey Pines. He clearly likes that course. He's now playing a course that he just doesn't play well at and rarely plays.
Rarely plays. I think this one caught a lot of us off guard. We don't know why he's playing unless he's going to literally drive to the first tee in a Genesis automobile.
I think that might be part of it.
Like this, like, you know, it makes zero sense. I don't want
He sponsors this tournament as a charity and always has, even when he wasn't playing. So I guess that part makes sense. He's probably in LA anyway.
But I don't want to. I don't think he's going to win this week. I would probably put his real number lower than yours. To me, his real number should maybe be in that 55-60 to
even
1.
Lower. For this event, even lower. If we're going to give him course history props for even the year that he won in 2013 when he won the 5 times, you know where he won? A bunch of places where he had won in the past.
Well,
he doesn't play these new courses well.
My question is, are you expecting him to play next week?
Yes, I am. I think he is playing next week.
So that's another course that doesn't set up for him.
He has played well at Honda in the past, though. It does. No, I don't think it sets up super well for him.
When he found out that he was playing this week, I'm spinning this into me. Okay? Selfish. I thought there was 0 chance he'd play the Honda. Palm Beach, down the road. And here's the thing, Pat. So here's my poll question. Although I kind of screwed up because I kind of made my decision. And did I screw up? In a couple weeks' time, I could be at this tournament.
At Bay Hill?
No. Honda.
Okay, so that's next week.
Yes, next week.
You're going to the Honda?
Let me get there. I can be there. My wife and my daughter are going to Florida. My wife's mother has a place there. We're literally like a stone's throw from PGA Boulevard, PGA National. Be like a 12-minute ride over there, and maybe I even play some golf with Bariff like I did last time I was down there. The thing is, if I go to be there for the tournament, that means I've got to be in Florida when my mother-in-law is there. You're not cutting this. This is exclusive to people that are watching the show at 4640. So it's like this thing, or I can show up on the Tuesday after. We could do our record here normally for the week. I'd say that was following it. Or I could be there for Saturday and Sunday, or I can avoid my mother-in-law. So the place isn't that big. And then I get there after the fact, and she's gone. But the other caveat is not only I get the weekend like alone at home. I got to do this in the bed. I listen to like porn with loud volume. Like, you're not cutting this.
I'm not.
So yeah, don't even timestamp it on your page. I'm just saying. So I don't like it's.
Ugh! Does that go along with the porn viewing?
No, that's me. Like, I like this course. I like this event. It's a great field. It'd be a fun weekend. I feel like a lot of our fans are out in that area. Show up there. Always enjoy anytime I've been to an event. People are so awesome.
I say do it.
Go.
Yeah, why not go? And imagine Tiger's in contention. I mean, so Tiger's schedule. We got this. We got next week. Then WGC Mexico, where no one's playing. Apparently, Rory pulled out this morning.
Maybe they'll let Tiger play.
Oh, yeah, 444 people now need to withdraw in between him and now. Then he's in the tournament. But then it's Bay Hill the week after. So or it's Valspar, then Bay Hill. I'm not sure which one.
There's
talk that you might play Valspar. I don't think it's
remember
happening.
I said that last week?
There's no chance.
And then you're like, yeah, you're in. And then, Fleetwood, who's also playing here.
We'll get to Fleetwood.
There's rumors he's adding another event.
I think it would be Houston. Like, why
That's
not?
the week before.
Yeah, why not play the week before the Masters to get ready?
It's not his game. He's never done that before.
That's Phil's game.
That's Phil's game. That's Phil's MO. He's not riding Phil's MO. Even 3.0 ain't riding Phil's MO.
I think it's a better tune-up than Valspar is.
100%, because he could play 4 days there, and Valspar, there's rough. You're off the fairway, you're in trouble. The thing the thing about Augusta is you're either sitting pretty,
or you're in
pine straw, or you're in a hazard. There really is no in-between. And anyone with a full backswing and follow through can get it to a green from pine straw.
Well, I think
with a clean look.
Almost to go back to that, I think that's why the Masters, Augusta and Riviera correlate really well with each other, because a lot of this week is shot shaping off the tee. I actually listened to the Tour Junkies interview with Charles Howell III. If people want to go subscribe to the Tour Junkies, friends of mine, yours, and the show, and people in the fantasy golf community, they talked to Charles Howell, and he talked a lot about how there's a lot of shot shaping off the tees here. Like there's obstructions in the middle of the fairway, like, oh, I need to play my shot like this to get it around it. Very similar to Augusta, and I think that's why Bubba and Phil have played well at both over the years, because that's sort of their MO. Like, hey, I can see where this ball is going, here's how I need to hit it, and I think those two things correlate really well. Plus, the around the green stuff is real. Like, 57% green regulation percentage here, that's well below tour average, so you're going to have to eventually, everyone's going to have to rely on their short game. No one's hitting the Graham DeLette 100% of greens in regulation, and then you never have to chip the ball. And at Augusta, how important is the around the green work? It's super important. So, I think that goes hand in hand. Anyway, any more Tiger points before we jump on to the rest?
I'm just so excited. I got no points. I'm wondering how much it costs to change a flight. Like $200, I think?
Well, if you fly Porter Airlines, which does not fly to... If you do fly Porter, you can change your flight whenever you want. You're going to show up to, like, if you're... Let's say you get ready for the airport and your flight's at 6 and you're ready by 2 and there's another flight at like 3:30. You just go to the airport and get on that flight. It's legit. I love it. It's the best for business travel.
Yeah, Porter, no, they're not flying in. This isn't even to, like, Miami. It's, like, Palm Beach.
Okay. Rest of
one thing about Tiger.
Okay.
Make the cut. And like I said last time, I don't remember... Who did he play with on the weekend?
I don't know.
Someone impressed me, though. I remember just getting a Sunday
Phil
round.
gagging a few putts so he wouldn't have the pressure of playing with Tiger. I recall that from Torrey Pines.
That was the best. That was the best. I'm excited. I mean, hopefully it's not one of my picks because I hope they'll be having better tee times. But like you said, if Tiger's out there with one of these young guys, like I think that's cool. Even like Tiger with a Kuchar. Like, I get into that.
Or Stricker. They can be buds. Stricker can help him putt.
That'd be lethal. Is Stricker not allowed at the Masters, right?
He's not allowed at the Masters?
He's not playing, is he? He can't play. He should caddy for Tiger.
Caddy for Tiger? Who is Tiger's caddy?
It's Joe LaCava.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought he may have gotten a new one on the bag.
No.
All right, rest of the field, because we've waited too long to talk about this. Fleetwood is up first. Tommy Fleetwood coming over from Europe. He is everyone's hot sleeper pick this week. Big shocker. However, when I look at it, listen, I love Tommy Fleetwood. He made me all the bucks at the U.S. Open last year. That was fantastic. I get that he actually sets up quite well for this course. Tee to green, Tommy Fleetwood is absolutely lights out. I do always have my hesitation the first week over. I mean, that could just be more narrative stuff, but either way, I just look at this list and I see Tommy Fleetwood, supreme ball striker, very good player at his number. Then I see Alex Noren at almost like double that number. And Noren's already been over here for 2 weeks. He has gained over 11 strokes through approach over his past 2 starts. He's already had a playoff loss on POA. He has a great short game. He scores really well on these longer par 4s. I really like Alex Noren this week over Fleetwood.
If Noren didn't play Pebble, right?
No.
He didn't. Screw that gong show.
He was playoff 2 at Torrey Pines, and then he was T21 at Phoenix.
But he got heated on the weekend after getting a couple rounds after the Monday loss, which made perfect sense. I like your mail, and I get the Fleetwood hype. I got him with those big Masters tickets. But I will say, to counter your first-time over thing, Noren went to that playoff on his first event this year.
Thomas Peters came second at this course last year, too.
Oh, you're stealing my picks.
But I'm just saying, it was his first time playing.
Yeah, no. The other part of it, though, is Fleetwood. Did he play this last year?
No.
I just remember him showing up in Florida last year.
Yeah, first time playing this tournament.
That seems we travel from the pond to that coast and then come back to Florida. Good for him. Hey, he's a big-time player. Maybe he's got a watch deal to sign in Los Angeles this week. That's the type of player he is.
He's a top 15 player in the world.
That's what I mean.
He's the next big British golfer.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So maybe there's he's going here. We expect Tiger to hop out of a car. Maybe Fleetwood's signing a watch contract. I don't freaking know, but he's in LA for a reason. I like the guy, but you made points. There are a couple Europeans who I do have money on, a couple Ryder Cup teammates of his who just paid pretty much double.
Yeah, so for reference, Fleetwood is 28, Noren's 45.
Same with Thomas.
I don't love Thomas this week.
You said a lot of things off the top. I like they work for me.
But is he still in that stratosphere? I feel like he had his run. Another guy with the Riviera Masters connection last year too, by the way. Second at Riviera, third at Masters.
Now I like him more. I don't.
But I think if I'm going to take one of those guys, I'm going to look down the card. So the rest of the guys, Fleetwood 28, Shez is 35, and I do find him intriguing. Daniel Berger is just, every stat that I look at, he's just boom, 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 boom. Daniel Berger. He's 40-1. Mark Leishman is 35-1. I like Leishman here. Then you got Grace at 45. Like, I might just hammer that area and just hope one of these guys pulls it out. Because Kuchar's there at 45 with Steele. Chappell's there. Noren.
Ollie.
Bubba Watson at 45-1. Who's starting to
We
play a lot better.
We won together.
However, he's going to play in the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game or Charity Game, whatever the hell it is, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'm not betting him anyway. We bet him to a Riviera win a couple years ago on the other show.
But he's 45. Peters is 45. Ollie's 45. Then like Cantley, Pat Perez is 55.
55. This is the DJ. This is that field effect you spoke about. To me, this is the effect. Not so much getting like your Ted Potter at 400 instead of 200. This is where we feel the effect of such a high quality field.
Perez played all right. I mean, he was 2 over in his final round at Pebble, but he still finished 6 under for the tournament. It's not like he's playing poorly.
He was my one and done. I feel
and
like
he beat me in the one and done because Hadley made the cut but did not play well.
I'm really annoyed. There's a lot of guys I like, and then you throw in that DJ thing.
So of that group, I'm on Noren and Ollie already. I'm giving a strong lean to Leishman and Brendan Grace and Kevin Chappell.
No Cantley. Because this is.
I know.
Do you remember?
Cantley should be good here.
Do you remember when we spoke early in the year and we're getting these Cantley numbers? They were like low, and we're like, yeah, but
let's wait.
We're gonna wait. He's not gonna win in the full season yet, and we're gonna get to like a big field, and he's gonna be pushing 50.
I can recall saying exactly that.
That's I'm putting it in your face because I know you said it.
It's a number I like.
It's great. Listen. I could take 6 names from this exact
You know
spot.
what? I want to see what Patrick Cantley's actually been up to, how he's actually playing, and why.
He played with Rahm on, well, I guess they were paired together for 3 days.
I'm curious to see what the deal with Patrick Cantley is right now. So,
isn't he a California kid too?
I don't know. He's played well in California. He's also played well in Florida. Guy's a good player. Patrick Cantley, I mean, there's a reason that he's up to where he is in the world rankings. So these are, since winning the Shriners, the last event he played of the fall season, T15 at Tournament of Champions, T51 at Farmers, T35 last week at Pebble. All pretty decent results. Now, the problem when you try to assess the Pebble Beach like shot link data, that's only at Pebble Beach, so you have no real idea of how he played at Spyglass or Monterey Point. However, he lost 6 strokes putting at the Farmers. I think that's a big deal because he was still gaining strokes through approach. He was gaining strokes off the tee, gained strokes around the green, which is something that we always have the problem with Patrick Cantley. The fact that the guy, when it gets to like in the sand or if he's chipping, he's not always the best at doing that. We saw him blow Valspar because he couldn't hit a bunker shot, an easy bunker shot, last year against Hadwin. But he's lost strokes putting the past 2 events. Maybe he's just not good at putting on POA. And that could be a problem. So if you take his historically worst short game, although it has improved a lot, and his ball striking isn't where it was when he was really popping, then I give a bit of hesitation. When we're talking about other guys around him, whether it be Noren or Ollie, I just like those guys.
Even Finau pushing a higher number.
We'll get to Finau. But yes, I think it's all a part of the same thing. Cantley skill-wise, is Cantley more skilled than Ollie Schneider-Jans? Probably. I mean, it's probably close. We like Ollie. We like Cantley. But I just don't know if this tournament is the perfect fit for him. And that's why I will probably be avoiding. Despite the fact, like you said, this is the number that I wanted to get from the get-go. Anyway, that's my case. If Cantley wins, I'm not going to be on him. I'm going to feel like an idiot. So will you be taking him?
I don't have him yet.
But
I'll also say, I got a disclaimer. I got a disclaimer, one thing.
Why Cantley at 50 if I can have Charles at 65?
I'd rather Cantley.
Would you?
I just don't know. I haven't seen anything from Charles in 2 years. You're telling me Fantasy Nationals, telling me something else?
No.
I don't know. I don't see the same play.
He's played well here in the Plains. He plays well at the Masters every year. He scores well on long par 4s. Like, that's his game.
Can Charles just show up on a golf course with no form and win like a Keimer? Sure. I believe he could. but that doesn't really do it for me. And now I forget what I was excited to say.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
That's okay. I was actually cutting you off to say something.
Cantlay, number 50.
No, it doesn't matter.
Is there any value in betting Chez Reavie at 35 to 1?
I'm not betting him.
I feel like if he wins this week,
But I never bet him before.
But I bet him.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I don't feel that like magnet towards it. I respect the game. I sometimes get caught up in like just the guy that I don't know. He hasn't won yet, but he shows up on different types of courses in real fields.
He's played this event.
He balls.
He's played this event 3 times in the past 4 years. He has a miscut, a T8, and a miscut. And T to green, guy's lights out. He's the best short game player on tour. Like when I talked about, recently at least. So when I talk about Chez Reavie and the other type of player that can win at this course, he's the guy that can do it. He hits every fairway. He hits long approaches really well, scores on long par 4s, and is lights out around the green. So if he ever does miss, he's not making triple bogey. He can save a par or 2. So I think Chez does actually set up really well here. But then he's 35 to 1. You're like, Leishman's the same number, and he's just a better player. But I said the same thing of why I ended up going with Patrick Reed on DraftKings over Chez last week. I was like, well, all things being equal, Patrick Reed's the better player, so I'll just take Patrick Reed. Now I feel like an idiot.
And it was like, if Patrick Reed gets in the Ted Potter position,
he's gonna win.
You like have confidence he like would the Moxie.
Yes.
The TPJ Moxie. Bottle that. I don't know. I keep staring at Cantlay, though. I pick him to win the U.S. Open, so I think he can win anywhere. That's sort of my problem.
I picked Rory to win the U.S. Open.
I like that a lot, too. I like Rory to win.
I also have my Jags over Steelers money line plus Rory parlay on the go. I don't need to bet Rory anymore. Nice to get in on that. So from that range, like I think I have more interest in Perez than Cantlay this week.
Perez
at a better number.
Perez is a guy that I've been touting for this LA-California win. This is the last chance, right?
Yeah. Because we're back to Florida next week. Adam Scott's down to 60 to 1. Fell outside of the top 50 in the world, Adam Scott. It's kind of crazy. Although we had a nice, decent Saturday before he missed the cut. He finally kind of got it going.
Someone, I want to say it was the Fantasy Grind, had a funny joke that Adam Scott is becoming Australia's Mike Weir.
Oh, God.
It's mean. We're not there yet.
He's the most handsome Uber driver you would ever have.
He is very handsome.
But in that range, like I have some love for Keegan here. Just tee to green, he's played so well. He's lost in a playoff here before too.
0.
Some good results over the years at Riviera. RCB at 66. Like I said, Charles at 66. I do kind of like. I haven't pulled the trigger on that. I pulled the trigger on Finau immediately at 66. That number will be bet down.
Yeah. When I said I was making a bet on the show, that's who I was betting. I thought we'd take the time to get there, but then you name dropped him, and that's a bet. 66. POA.
So when it comes to, I went kind of and looked at, and it's always the same case with Tony Finau every single week. Can he putt? Okay. Then he's probably going to contend. He has not contended at this course in the past. However, when you go look at what he's been doing recently, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. His around the green work has been like spectacular. Based on FantasyNational.com, looking at around the green stuff over the past 12 rounds, he ranks inside the top 20 of anyone in this field, which is stunning. And his putting hasn't been like horrible lately. Can't score on par 5s. Tony Finau is not scoring on par 5s. I would think that if something's going to flip, yeah, maybe the putting goes back the other way, but on POA grass, maybe it can just be average. But if something's going to go back and click, I would imagine it's that he starts scoring on par 5s again.
It was 2 weeks ago. So you might have been flying to Minnesota.
Okay.
During peak Finau.
I was. Because I opened up my app, I was like, what the hell happened to Tony Finau?
It's Sunday. It's Torrey Pines. We're the hole before a par 5. We're on a par 3. And we hit an 80-foot bomb for birdie.
Oh, no, I saw that at the airport. I was like, ooh, Tony Finau.
And then it's like, you're watching this, and then we're going to a par 5. So it's like, birdie before. I don't know about you. If I'm chasing a guy and he birdies before the par 5.
Oh, you get all amped up.
I get annoyed. But if I have the guy and he's on a run before the par 5, I'm like, ready to roll.
I recall this because Tony Finau put it to like 3 feet on the next hole and missed the putt.
The birdie.
Classic Tony Finau.
It was a par 5. It was like a 3.5 footer. He just saw someone else hit the putt from 6 feet. We missed the putt. Would have tied, I think, Norin or whoever would have been for the lead. Sunday.
And then he went away.
Then he bogeys 3 of the next bunch. That's what I call peak Finau. It's like he has some trigger, like a poor Paul Casey or any other player you pick on. When it's time to hit it, it's like, fine, I can make 5 in a row to get in contention. When it's time to hit the easiest putt of the day to get a lead, I can't hit it.
Finau's win, his next one, because he won the Puerto Rico.
I say that, I love him. I think a win is so coming.
I'm on him, but he's going to win the same way Vegas wins. He's going to be like 5 off the lead, playing in like the 10th to last group on a Sunday, and he just goes out and puts up a number.
He'd bogey 18.
He might.
When you know you need it, like, oh, I'm in it. I don't know. The number is out of this world good, though.
So the only guys that I actually have put legitimate money on so far, and I'll release my cheat sheet.
So this is
Ollie, Noren, and Finau are the only 3 so far.
Okay, I got money on 2 of them, and I only have money on 2 people so far. That's what I wanted to say before. The disclaimer is, for whatever reason, some of these books were slow as slow as a sloth this morning. We got some odds like 6 minutes before getting to this desk.
Did you ever see my impression of a three-toed sloth?
I don't get it.
He was 3 toes.
Oh.
He moves very slowly.
Okay.
I had a friend who used to get stoned and do that all the time. Cracked me up.
That's cool. So yeah, there were a couple like instas, like Ollie, and Finau in the studio. But some of these numbers haven't had time to like percolate. Like, I came in here last week like with my Paul Casey.
We also recorded on a Tuesday too. And I think that's sort of a disclaimer that we need to put out there. We don't have all the information that we're going to have yet. That's why I released the betting cheat sheet on Wednesday, because I started thinking about stuff. And sometimes I change my mind, because other people present other things to me that I haven't seen yet.
And you say that because it's one thing to say something. It's another thing to put your money on something. And that's why sometimes it takes a couple days. There's no doubt we see odds. We jump on guys, Ollie, Finau, what have you. But like guys like Casey and Peters, they're just rattling in my brain right now.
That's how I feel about Leishman.
They're just rattling in there, and I don't know what to do as we're recording this, and I'll be fully honest.
Over the past 50 rounds, driving distance gained. So this is a stat at Fantasy National that doesn't just measure driving distance on a pure number. It measures how well you performed in driving distance as opposed to the field that you've played in. So it's not just a raw number, because every course is different, right? Like, your driving distance at Pebble Beach is not going to be the same as at Torrey Pines, because you're just not going to be taking a driver all the time, and it would hurt your overall average. So I like this gain number, because it ranks you against all the field that you're in. Here's the top 10 over the past 50 rounds. Rory Finau, Andrew Riviere, Dustin Johnson, Kevin Tway, Justin Thomas, Luke List, Charlie Belgian, who has a T2 here, JB Holmes, Kevin Chappell, and Xander Schauffele. Xander and Chappell, I'm kind of digging, and I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but like...
Chappell came on strong on the weekend.
I didn't realize he hits it as far as he does.
Chappie just seems to be plugging along. Again, this range, this like 40 to 66 range, Pat.
But it all becomes for naught if DJ wins by 7 shots. That's what I'm scared of. Because Xander's at that 66 to 1 number too. Streelman's been playing lights out. James Hahn is 70 to 1. He's won here before. He's playing well right now too. He ended Sunday hot fire at Pebble.
He was on the card last week, so now I'm going to go to a course that he's won at before and not bet him.
It's a bad number, though. I'm not a big fan of backing James Hahn.
He was 70 to 1 last week. The field was also strong.
I didn't like him last week either.
I bet him.
So of all,
I think he made it on the number.
Kokrak's going to be super popular this week. He has a great course history. He's 80 to 1.
What about Vegas 100 to 1?
I think it's weird because Jason Kokrak has played really well at this event over the years. He's trending really well, but I just think Vegas is a better player.
But we've also been sort of...
He's a part of that DJ Rahm corollary, Johnny Vegas. At courses where both those guys play well, Vegas tends to play well too. He's just far more inconsistent.
Way more inconsistent. I said it a bunch already this year. Like, the stats show there's more to the game than just hitting it deep. And he can hit those greens from that long range.
That he can.
Those long iron greens those long iron second shots.
He's putting well right now too.
100 to 1.
He's gained strokes putting in each of his past 3 tournaments. The approach has left him. Remember, he was super popular at Torrey Pines. I'm looking back right now at the DraftKings ownership. It's one of the new features at Fantasy National, by the way. So he was 30% owned at the Farmers. He was 14.7 at Career Builder and 21 at TOC, which is really unfair because it's a 30-man field and he was super cheap.
He didn't do bad at
Career builder.
Torrey, did he?
Yeah, he missed the cut. Everyone was on him. He was the chalk who missed the cut. The chalk went bad. Almost like Webb Simpson in Phoenix, where everyone was on him and it didn't really work out. But I really do think that, although Vegas rated out well there's a reason that he was 30% owned when it came to Torrey Pines, I think he could play well here too. Like, I have no real worries about, I do have worries. Vegas over the years at this course, I just typed Vegas into Vegas. Let's see.
Torrey Pines a harder course, but
last 3 years, last 3 turns for Johnny Vegas at the Genesis Open. T15 last year, 75th, and he did make the cut, and 40th the year before that, missed cut in 2012. So I think he's lingering around enough that I think we should give him some consideration. Any course, it's like the Jason Day thing, and it happened again last week at Pebble. That if Jason Day has experience of playing well at that course, watch out for Kevin Chappell, because he can play well there too. Those two guys are just linked. And I don't know if it's what it is, but they're linked. DJ, Rahm, and Vegas to a lesser degree are also linked. Grayson Murray as well. So I will be on Vegas. He has my interest at least. So I'm going to see what it all rounds out to. I like Luke List too. Luke List's short game is coming around right now. But weirdly, like him, his irons aren't really good. And sort of ball striking was sort of his bread and butter, and now it's not great. So I'm hoping that kind of flips around. But last time he played POA was at Torrey Pines, and he played really well at Torrey Pines. So I like Luke List as well. Anyone else from down here? Sam Saunders rated out really well for me. 175 to 1. I keep betting him T20 every week.
This guy Harkins finished at T10?
Yeah, no, I think he bogeyed to finish outside of the top 10. Harkins has been really good, man.
What about Uline?
Feels like a Uline course, doesn't it?
We've said that too much.
I know.
I don't want to make that comment again. I keep saying they're Uline courses.
I just feel like if you're going to put some cash down, same as Bo Hostler, who just tanks it on every weekend.
Weekend. Can't score on a weekend.
So Uline...
He must have been sick because people knew something yesterday as it pertained to Hostler because he was a minus 130 matchup favorite versus, I don't care.
Someone.
A very similar golfer, and it flipped like heart. Matches don't flip like that. So there must have been word out on maybe he's playing with something. And
those guys are reserved for first round leaders right now.
Okay. And did someone withdraw that
Charlie Hoffman withdrew.
Injury question?
No. He said, screw this, I'm not playing. And how Cabrera withdrew last week, yet continued to play so his amateur could keep playing.
I saw that in the thing.
I didn't even know how that works. Like, what? Was he playing that badly? I didn't even see his score.
I don't understand that. Question, are you done saying JJ Spawn can win out west? Not done, but are you going to go there?
He's coming off the injury.
He withdrew in Phoenix. I don't like it.
I mean, he's 125. That's worth six of my dollars, just so I don't get FOMO.
William Bud Colley? On Bodog, they call him William Bud Colley.
Really?
On the betting card.
I didn't even notice that. No, not really. Kevin Na piqued my interest. His around the green game is really sharp.
You know what?
He's played well here in the past, and he's starting to come around a little bit. Although when we talk, if we laugh about, hey, Paul Casey can't win a tournament, Kevin Na's not winning a tournament. So
no,
top
but
20 bet or something like that.
I could get behind that. I like what he saw. He played with Phil, and I saw him talking with Phil a lot yesterday.
God.
They interviewed
shoot himself.
They interviewed Steve Young, who played with Kevin Na.
Yeah.
It was Steve Young. Oh no, Alex Smith was with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know who the other guy was, but Steve Young, like as a comment made, like he is very intense. He's intense. So Kevin Na ultra focused during PGA events. No surprise, I guess.
So I mentioned some of these guys that are coming over from overseas. We always talk about, hey, if you win Abu Dhabi, or whatever the hell the tournament is that Hao Tong won, then you go on to win the Masters. And generally speaking, people who play well in that tournament play well at Riviera as well. I mean, that's one of the other corollaries as well. Sergio has a great performance track record at Riviera. Do you have any interest in Hao Tong Lee?
He hits the irons pure, but I'm not.
Because people will be all over him.
For the Masters?
For here and the Masters, I think. This is the first week you get to kind of use them. And I think that people will get all pumped up. That's why I think that Noren comes in with, like, not a lot of buzz here. because people used Noren, 2 weeks ago. It's like, hey, Noren's super undervalued. Let's use Noren. Now people are over Noren. Now you got Fleetwood. Now you got Haotong to kind of go with. Keimer's over here too for the first time, but I think Haotong.
Charles, you mentioned.
Charles playing for the first time, and someone on the Asian tour who I had never heard of is actually playing for the first time. Furyk is in the field for the first time in 2018 as well. But Haotong in particular, he's a top 35 player in the world. He's just won a marquee event where he outlasted Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. I think he's an exciting bet. I think it's really hilarious that his odds for the Masters are worse than his odds are for here, which is kind of funny. But everyone's just playing up the narrative that you end up winning that tournament, you win the Masters. That's great. But I think he's intriguing to me, but I don't really know what to make of him. Like, do you have a take either way?
I remember barely even pronounce his name to you a few years ago and trying to figure it out when I saw him riding one of these Asian tournaments that Bubba used to play. They'd ride a pontoon boat to one of the holes.
He played well in that tournament, I feel.
Yeah, he did. He almost beat Bubba, when Bubba was old Bubba. That was the first I saw of him. Oh, he'll have a lot of Chinese support, I guess, in LA this week. I can't bet him. I'm not betting him.
Okay.
He hits a pure iron.
That's what you want here, though, like these ball strikers.
And I don't, I say this very ignorantly.
Okay. Should you say it then? How ignorant is it? Is it ignorant or is it just ignorant?
It's just ignorant.
Okay.
These guys can be methodically built in a machine.
The Asian golfer?
Yeah.
You know who's not? Siwoo. He's too all over the place.
No, I'm not even talking Asian, Chinese.
Oh, Chinese. But there's not a lot of Chinese golfers.
I'm just telling you.
He's the best one by far.
Yeah. He was probably literally, he was probably harnessed to a swing machine that copied Tiger's swing or something. The same way they made Yao Ming. I don't know.
Well, it's just like the Soviets back in the day. It's like you're 6 years old, we're taking you from your family, and you would play hockey until you were the age of 25 for the Red Army team.
I know this. At some point, we might not even be together. Chinese golf is going to take over the tour. They are building something there.
I think Korean golf is way ahead of them because
okay, fine.
I think we're finally starting to see the Y.E. Yang effect right now.
Maybe
because now
Indy Park held the flame.
Did she? I thought it was the figure skater.
I didn't say she lit the flame, but she was we had Gretzky and Katrina Lemay-Don. We had 4 people.
The hell was Katrina Lemay-Don?
The figure skater and won 100 medals. I'm just saying when Canada had the Winters in 10, they had 4 people light the flame together.
I thought we let Mike Myers do it.
No, I'm just saying she was she ran with the flame in the stadium at the opening ceremony.
Yeah, so South Korean women's golf has been peak for a decade and a half now. But you're seeing a lot more competitive men come out now, and they're all young Korean golfers, and I think that had to do with Y.E. Yang beating Tiger. And that's, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, and if they win certain golf tournaments, they don't have to go to the military.
That's huge. I don't think anyone's actually ever done that yet.
No. What's funny is they could win a big one, but they have to win specific ones.
Yeah, like Siwoo winning the Players didn't count.
Didn't do it.
But getting a medal at the Olympics does count.
Yes, or the Asian Games.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh, that's interesting. So a few more names I want to check out here too.
I feel oh my God, who's that? Shin Chu won a gold at the Asian Games for the Korean baseball. He didn't have to go to military service, so he never left. The baseball player.
That's worth $45 million too. Being able to stay in Major League Baseball during your
prime. Oh yeah, an above average multi-tooled outfielder. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So a few more names to check out. Aaron Wise, I thought was kind of interesting here for his prowess off the tee. He's 160. Sangmoon Bae rates out really well on POA. Missed 6 consecutive cuts, returning from his 2-year military stint in the Korean Army.
He's been
great results. 8th, 12th, 8th at Riviera in his 3 starts.
I was only going to make notice that
140 to 1, and he was T15 last week. First cut made since returning.
Yeah, I was only going to say following Kenny Kim. I've just seen he's been around for a couple weeks now, and he's been progressively getting.
This is last week was the first time he made a cut. Yeah.
I might Kenny Kim this one.
Take Sangmoon? I think he's an interesting look for a top 10, a top 20. I don't know if I'm going to bet
even
him
a DraftKings pick, you could be very interesting.
I might have to break up with Tom Hoagie. He broke my heart last week. He destroyed every single one of my good DraftKings lineups. But he's 200-1 and rates out really well here. He's turning into the new Luke List. The stat model loves Tom Hoagie every single week.
The first time I turned the leaderboard on Thursday, he was 300
He
through
was.
3.
He finished like 3. The only thing that saved him was he ended up like 3 over after that round somehow. But on the back 9 on Saturday, he went eagle par eagle to like get himself back to even. I was like, ooh, those 8 points, those 16 points will help me out a little bit. Like I mentioned, Sam Saunders at 175, I have interest in. And that was really about it. There's no one really else. For you, anyone down there?
No. Sangmoon Bay, Johnny Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
Of the
Are
triple digits.
you going to buy into the Kokrak chalk this week? Because everyone's going to love Jason Kokrak.
Where's the odd? 80? No.
Okay. Just wondering.
I'm going to have... This might be an expensive week.
Well, if you go with DJ, yeah.
If I go with DJ, it's going to be like... It almost will go into like an NFL book.
Okay.
Like it almost might not be fair. The math wouldn't be fair to be like, this is a golf wager. If you get what I'm saying.
No, I know what you mean. There's a difference between betting something that's even money and betting something that's 30-1.
Yeah.
If you bet the same on both, you're probably an insane person.
So I'm just saying, like, it might just be in its own little thing. And like I said, I gotta find out where the dads are across the NHL this week.
You use your dad corollary to parlay DJ up?
DJ with the dad games. I gotta find them. If you know there's puck guys out there, let me know, I beg you. I don't read anything hockey. It's just in my face because I live in Canada, but I don't go out of my way to find any of it. But I love this dad narrative.
Picks. So far, like I mentioned, the only actual ones that I have put in, Ollie 45, Finau 66, Noren 45, and I will be on Luke List. I'm searching for a better number. He's 125 on 365. I'll wait for a 150, that kind of thing. But I will be in on him. I'll have my cheat sheet released Wednesday afternoon, facebook.com/thepme for the ones that I've put in on already, and the ones that I like in terms of top 20s, first round leaders, top 10s, because I do think that presents better value and safer value this week by distributing the wealth around just a little bit with DJ and Rory at the top. Like it's super terrifying to look at the sheet. But again, like you said, it's giving us better numbers on the other guys I'm interested in, whether it be Leishman, whether it be Bubba Watson, whether it be Kevin Chappell, like you mentioned, Charles Schwartzel. You're getting better numbers, Cantlay, than you normally would on these guys because those big names are there. And hey, like we saw, DJ can lose to Ted Potter. It's not a thing that happens every single time.
It happened. I still can't believe it, come to think of it.
This stuff happens every year,
I
though.
thought about playing the head-to-head.
Oh, God.
I'm happy I was like, no, you don't need to ruin... You're going to be cheering for him anyway. You don't need to ruin everything. I thought it... Someone out there took a freaking soaking. Soaking. I feel bad. I know there were some enormous Kiradash DJ doubles that we're going to send kids.
The one decent thing about the DJ Kiradash double was that if you were able to access like live numbers, the hedge on Potter the entire day was still there. He was always playing, even when he was up by 3, he was playing plus
even
money.
multiple, like if Shez scared, like you could have done more than one.
Because DJ was always the overwhelming favorite until there was no chance of him coming back. The books always pretended like he was still the favorite to win, basically.
Do you still feel you need to system Siwoo at 160?
Oh yeah,
you kind of do.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'm in on Siwoo.
Yeah.
I get sick of saying it every single week. So if someone, and that's something for the long-time listeners too. It's just like...
It's a thing. It's 160
Listen, when someone tunes in like the week before the Masters, and I've had my Siwoo money in, because I do every week, and he went through, you didn't even mention Siwoo. Came and say, hey, you should have been watching the show forever, because I bet him every week.
Yeah. 160 to 1, it's worth the $8 or whatever.
$8? Worth the fucking $5, please. That's a decent payout.
Yeah, it's worth 2. Whatever you want to do.
It's worth like $1,000 on $5.
If you've been doing it, you got to keep doing it, especially big numbers, strong fields, doesn't matter.
Does Jimmy Walker interest you at all?
It's the last California event. I saw you kind of played well yesterday.
Top T9 at Pebble Beach?
No.
No? Okay.
What's the number?
90.
My eyes go right through him.
90.
Cam Smith 110. last name I throw out. It's a big number.
I didn't even think about Cam Smith.
It's a big number for a guy that
You know what's weird? This course makes a lot of sense for him. Great short game, good with long irons. I didn't even really think about it.
Didn't even mean either. I just
tell you the
see
truth.
the big name.
Do you like
I see
him?
a big number.
Him at 110 or Vegas at 100 better?
Maybe Cam Smith, now that I think about it.
That's really interesting.
Because I've bet Vegas more this year, so I'm a loser like that.
Cam Smith, yeah. I mean, he just hasn't been playing great. 17th, 18th, 20th, 48th, and 4 starts this year in America. Yeah. And before that was his hot run through Australia where he's 4th and 1st. So it's the odds feel too deep, considering that people were playing him at 30 to 1 like 3 weeks ago. So maybe that's it. I'm gonna put a little note next to his name.
Okay, Northern Trust. Chaclair, I want to say this earlier, just to bring back, how generic or what level he is. He played at my friend's wedding a few years ago. So he's, you can book the guy.
He's available?
Yeah.
Did he play Let's Ride?
I don't remember.
Does he play his own songs, or does he do cover songs?
He played his own songs.
Oh, so then he has one big song, so he definitely played Let's Ride.
For sure.
Great opening hook in Let's Ride.
Norin, Ollie. Oh, is it cheating to say I'll play 5 to 1, DJ at 5 to 1 in every golfer between 40 and 50 to 1 and Rafa? That was a joke.
I was gonna say, if you did that, it sounds like a losing week, no matter who wins.
No. Okay, so
you're on the 3 with me, right? Ollie, Norin, and Finau?
Finau for sure. And then in this range, I've also got tough decisions. Pat Perez, Daniel Berger, people I think are sleeping on, played so well at Phoenix, does a lot of the things, long irons, driving. Cantley, I worry about the short game. That's really what I worry about. But when I pick a guy to win the U.S. Open, I think he's capable of doing everything. And this is the last stop for the Pat Perez train of Los Angeles and good vibes. So am I getting off that train? And then my brain is still kicking around Peters and Casey.
It's just like how I'm kicking around Charles. I'm going to openly admit this. I'm kicking around Bubba.
I don't mind it. I'll say this. I feel silly. There was a point, even though I guess he never really contended, Bubba like 80 to 1 in Phoenix probably should have been bet. If they do that again next year, I'll probably bet it. Bubba last week on a links layout with beach wind was a laughable bet that people were making for some reason. So this is another Bubba bet that I don't have any problem with, and he's in that same range.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 consecutive tournaments he's lost a lot of strokes around the green. So I guess the problem with Bubba right now is if he's not hitting those like 185, 190 irons and sticking them, if he's missing the green with those, he's screwed. But we do know that he is one of the few people in this field capable of sticking all of those.
All of them.
And he's won here twice.
The Bubba I remember, the thing we used to praise about him, and like the secret about him, because everyone knew Bubba was a bomber. But no one talked about Bubba's like 3-putt avoidance.
So and great lag putting.
So that's my point. So when he hits his greens in reg, the bogeys don't happen, like period. And I know a lot of tour, they shouldn't with a lot of tour
but
pros.
They do. Hey, listen, 3-putt avoidance this week it's one of those stats. It doesn't actually tell you anything.
But it tells you everything, doesn't it?
It's more of a results-based thing. Like when you look at the end of the week, be like, oh, of course he won and came first in 3.
Of course he wins the Masters. He didn't 3-putt anything. Yeah. Hit it that far and never 3-putt. Yeah, exactly. You're going to win the Masters.
I don't think it's one of those things like, oh, I'm going to go look at who's great at 3-putt avoidance, and like they're never going to 3-putt unless it was Luke Donald that time who had like 7,000 consecutive holes without a 3-putt. But generally speaking, I don't find that to be a predictive number. Especially as it applies to someone like Bubba Watson. When you're dealing with like different grass type, different green sizes, and where these aren't big greens, the lag putting I think means less. But he's had tournaments before, and it's generally tournaments that he's won at before, where he's like 98% from inside 10 feet.
And these are things. There's guys that can win at different tracks. Bubba, in a very like Tiger-esque way,
Travelers, Augusta, Riviera,
just wins at his
Doral,
wins at Bubba tracks. And this is a Bubba track. I'm not betting it. But it's a Bubba track. We won it like 12 to 1 maybe it was a few years ago when he won here for.
Take 25 to 1, man.
That was crazy.
I think it was the first time he had played all year.
Yeah.
Because the reason that we ended up with
because it was just we bet it because it was high.
We had Bubba, Charles, and Leishman that week. I remember this very vividly. And the only reason that because we normally don't take like 3 guys in the 20s, but like, why are these guys all in the 20s? That doesn't make any sense. They should be like 12-1. And they weren't because Rory was there. Rory and DJ were like 5-1, 6-1, and then the rest of the guys just got pushed out of the card.
And don't ask me why for the memory, but the week after was the Potty Burger Honda year.
Twas. And we all like Casey. No, we got this all twisted. The year that Casey lost in the playoff to James Hahn, the next week was the Casey, Patty, Berger, like Honda run. Because that was the first time Daniel Berger like made a splash. Was that Honda. And then he went splash and lost to Patty. One and done, picks of the week.
I'm going first.
You won last week, so it is up to you, kind sir.
You know what?
Don't do it to me.
It's happening.
Don't do it to me.
I'm doing it.
Who are you taking?
Dustin. Shit. I'm going to do it. This is the place. It's not a major.
This is Hideki at Phoenix. You know what I mean?
This is the one. I got first draw here. I'm going to do it. I know he was pretty popular last week in the one and done. He got people with the T2 is like the 400K. I'm hoping to beat that by about 60% this week.
I will take, because I've been pumping him up. And I don't think that he'll be highly used in the one and done. Alex Noren.
Great pick.
I think he'll be 15th.
I was actually thinking about Finau.
Finau is interesting. I feel like you want to save Finau for a course where there's not so many good people in it.
Yeah, I guess. He'll play somewhere where he's like 16.
He'll T6 at the Canadian Open. Like, don't worry about that. But I'll take Noren. Any final thoughts on the Genesis Open? Genesis is a car, you say? I thought it was some sort of computer programming software.
I thought it was Sega.
Sega.
No.
That's it?
I gotta I'll post an official card.
Yeah, and like I said, people can go check out my cheat sheet when it's all up and running. Pay attention to Twitter, too. Could have gotten on a Chez Reavie each way. If you can bet each way, which a lot of people in the States can't. Only in Canada. We're only on Bet360. Will Hill has each ways, too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they also have the live cash out feature. Turns out Bodog / Bovada, not the best. For live betting, at least. I don't think 5 Dimes does either. Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. You can follow me on Twitter at the PME. You can follow Geoff on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can also hit me up at the PME on Facebook and Instagram to check out the cheat sheet for the week. My column breaking down the courses up on DKPlaybook.com. Tuesday, Mike Leone from Daily Roto will be on the show to talk about all the DraftKings pricing. And that'll do it. Sub to the show, give it a like, all the regular stuff that goes a long way to help out the show. And don't be afraid to become a member at fantasynational.com to dig deeper and really just speed up all your picks. You get all the information and it's like 5 hours easier to do. All right? Pat Mayo, good luck this week. I'll see you next time.